Welcome, everybody, to the China Show, episode 261, I believe.
Do you know what 261 area code is?
No idea.
Madagascar.
Oh, very nice.
So shout out to if you're from Madagascar and you're in the chat right now, give us a shout out.
Absolutely.
We'll shout out to you.
Anyway, we've got quite the show for you today, guys. It's been intense this past week in China. We've got a lot to discuss, a lot to show you. And yes, as per usual, we're here to draw the veil back and reveal to you the truth about what's happening in China.
If you're new here for some reason, China blocks everything. They have a great firewall on their internet. They don't like anything to escape the borders. But we have trusted sources. We also have ways of getting video to you from China about what's happening there. So that's what you're here for. Number two, I just wish and hope sometime soon. Let's just show what you're doing here. This is
Get Ryan out of here.
This is Ryan. He's on our secret show on patreon.com/ADV podcast. But anyway, also there's Duck.
Yes, okay.
Duck's Lothington.
What were you saying?
Anyway, what I was saying was I hope soon we have a China Show episode where it's not absolute insanity. I want one where it's just chill, because this is not chill, this episode.
Yeah, definitely not. But we got a lot of funny stuff, a lot of entertaining things, as well as, of course, the serious stuff. So let's saunter right into it with what's new. This is where we talk about everything that's new, specifically with regards to China. And what's going on here, Sea-Milk?
This is a video that's going around in China. It says, reading my favorite book. And this is it's
Well,
just a bunch of RMB notes, which is the currency of China.
Yeah.
It has some emotional kind of longing music.
Yeah, exactly.
He reads his favorite book by candlelight. It says even a power outage can't affect my passion for this book.
Yes. I mean, it's funny, but it's also a little bit unfortunate, because if you live in China for any period of time, you'll realize that, there's no religion in China.
No.
It's an atheist country. You're not allowed to practice religion if you're a Communist Party member.
Yep.
And of course, they wiped out all religion during the Cultural Revolution and stuff. And so what's replaced religion is a worship of money. And it's unfortunate, because that's what you're looking at right here.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought that was a fun/too true.
Yes. Now this.
Some Roberts over here.
So China's, sort of self-delivery things, you see propaganda about them all the time.
They're robots, right?
Yeah, they're supposed to be robots, like robotic delivery vehicles. And you see these, foreigners, and they'll be like, I can get KFC delivered on one of these things. China's living in the future. Unfortunately, they can't,
suck.
Yeah, they can't get past a pile of leaves. This one goes around that one.
顺风, not too 顺, are you?
No, especially since that one also gets stuck at a pile of leaves. Oh, well, kind of useless.
That's sad. You know what
What?
It's just the whole thing. If you haven't been here, like, China's been pushing probably number 2, like second to like Taiwan, Taiwan propaganda, like taking over Taiwan. It's been robot propaganda. And a lot of the people that they employ to talk about China's robotics industry is they say Roberts instead of robots for some reason. And this just reminded me of something. In fact, I think there's a new soundbite on deck.
There is a new soundbite. Should we play it now? You want to play it? Okay.
Let's play it.
All right.
It's a little preview of what's to come.
Yeah, we've got some interesting robot updates for you as well today.
Yeah, Robert.
Anyway, let's continue on to our next clip.
Leaf-seeking missiles, bro.
Yes. It's just kind of hilarious.
Yeah, well.
Okay, quick pause. What does that look like to you?
That looks like if you took a Porsche Cayenne.
Yes.
And you made it and shrunk it down into like half of a Beetle-sized proportions.
Yes.
And in fact, this is actually just a like $2,000 Chinese EV.
Yes. Okay. So this is a small, cheap, in the rural countryside kind of electric car.
Yeah,
that
it goes like
buy.
30 kilometers an hour.
Okay.
Something like that.
It is a knockoff of a Porsche, as you can see.
这个不是保时捷啊，保时驴。为啥叫保？
Okay, take a look at that.
He said, "This isn't a Porsche. This is a Porsche donkey."
Yes. It's got the Porsche logo, but look in the middle, it's got the donkey from Shrek.
It's the Shrek
It's
donkey.
the Shrek
and it says
donkey.
new energy.
Yes.
保时驴，你看看，
This is China's EV revolution.
你看看这个里边儿，人的保时捷里面是个马，它这是个驴。
那是二代。
二代骡子啊，
Second
还
generation.
是个驴。
二代驴.
Yes.
你别说这个驴啊，还挺有喜感的。
So there you can see.
Second gen Lu.
Yeah, the Baoshi and the Baoshi Lu.
A Lu is a donkey in Chinese. You can learn a little Chinese there.
So you can see this is how China's done it for many years, decades now, is they'll take a logo and they'll just slightly change it.
Yes.
See what they did here? They took the horizontal stripes, made them vertical.
Yes.
You know, those, what even are those? Like fronds? What are they?
I'm not sure. I thought they're eyelashes.
You like Porsches, right?
Kinda, yeah.
So I mean,
Some of
like you should know what those are. Somebody will tell us right away in the comments, I'm sure.
Yeah, tell us. I don't know enough.
Look like, I don't know, like fronds or something. Anyway.
I will say this.
What?
I don't want people to think this is a meme.
No,
this is
this is
not a
real.
silly thing they bought on Temu like for a badge. This is a counterfeit car.
Yes, that you can buy.
It's not only a badge, it's the whole thing is counterfeit.
Yes.
They literally took a Cayenne and shrunk it down.
You'll see that with most Chinese cars. Even if it is like an original car, it'll just look like a Land Rover or look like a Taycan or whatever.
They seem to copy Porsche a lot.
Yes.
You notice that? And I think it's because Porsche is seen as like unobtainium for most Chinese people, which makes sense, right?
I mean, and they've got very good designs. So it's,
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
like when
Like
you,
iconic,
yeah,
right?
when you spend that much money on
It's
this
true.
design, you know.
I do think Porsche's design is always like pretty tasteful, and I think that translates well to a counterfeit, right?
Correct.
Because it's not going to look bad in 5 years. It's
Yeah.
still going to look like a good design.
Correct.
Except for this looks absolutely ridiculous.
This is stupid.
Little regarded.
Yes. I just love the fact that it exists. You can buy it. I
Yes.
looked it up online. You can still buy them
You
in
can buy
China.
it. Yep. It's a whole ass car.
Yeah, it's a car.
保时捷，保时捷确实是个马，这是个驴。
Oh, what happened
That's
to?
good. It's
oh, it's
later.
coming. Okay. Can you explain what's happening here?
Well, there is a little boy on the back of his father's work van,
Yeah, I think I'll take the volume down a bit. We'll just play it quickly so people.
and
can
a
see.
woman is freaking out because
Well, of course.
yes, she's like, "Beep, get out of the car, stop." The boy is obviously playing on his father's
Yeah.
car.
Well, it's a good thing he didn't accelerate
Oh
really
my
hard.
gosh, that was a quick catch.
Yes,
Quick catch.
very good.
You know that kid's gonna get yelled at.
Okay, hang on a second. Guys, why do you think Chinese people film themselves sleeping?
Should I read some chat?
Sure.
I'll read some chat. Why do you think Chinese people film themselves sleeping?
Yeah.
It's a simple question.
Because, you know, we often show you clips of the
have an
living
answer.
room, you know.
Yeah, we have an answer.
Yeah, we have an answer.
Yeah.
We're just curious what you think.
What do you guys think? Okay. No, not pervs.
It's nothing perverted.
Ghosts? Nope. Not just film ghosts. No. Why do you think? Security, obviously.
Yes.
Superstition?
No.
No, it is security. It's because
Theft.
Theft is so high in China. I've never seen more theft in my life than I have in China.
Yeah.
It is a country full of robberies, right? Especially home robberies.
Yeah.
And so people film their rooms because they want to make sure they catch a thief in action.
You know, a friend of ours actually was sleeping, and a thief climbed through his window, stole his laptop and everything right while he was sleeping in his room.
And a bunch of money. Most important was like a pot. It was like a huge. It was all his savings,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah. They came into his room while he was sleeping and stole his stuff while he was sleeping right next to him.
Yeah.
So that's why you'd film yourself sleeping, is to catch a thief.
Oftentimes they'll actually gas a room and actually knock the
Yeah.
people out.
They do that too.
And they
yeah.
do it often.
Yeah.
You actually see ads for that chemical, Meow, remember?
Yeah, meow.
You
That's
see
right.
that everywhere.
Anyway, this guy's filming himself, and he's just phone zombieing in bed,
Yeah.
and this happens.
Brain rotting.
Yeah.
A balloon.
Did you see what it was?
It was a balloon.
What kind of balloon?
A cat?
No.
I didn't. I was more paying attention to his
Let's
reaction.
take a quick look.
Yeah, let's have a look. Curious.
All right. It's Nerja.
Oh, Nudja.
Did you know?
Midja?
Did you know the little secret?
What?
And I'm almost 100% sure this is true. You know, Nerja isn't actually Chinese. It's,
Hold on. Nudja is China's best-selling animated movie of all time.
Yes, I've watched number 1. I haven't watched number 2.
By the way,
Nerja 2 is like a huge juggernaut. It's like it's made the most money out of any animated film ever in history or something.
with caveats.
Yes.
I read on the Chinese internet, people were getting 8 to 10 tickets from their boss to divvy out. They pumped and dumped that movie so hard.
Yes.
To try to get all these records.
I'll be honest with you. If you were to go watch it, I'm pretty sure you'll find it's mid, because I
call
watched
it Midja.
I watched the first one and it wasn't very good. So anyway, what I'm trying to tell you though is Nurja isn't actually Chinese, it's Indian. It's like an Indian, like a Hindu story, like
Oh, is it?
kind of little godling or something. I was reading about
It's
that.
so hard not to play you out, yeah.
Okay. I know it's Nurja, but yes. Yeah, anyway, I will stand corrected if I'm wrong about that, but I was reading something about that. It
okay.
made total sense to me because just like the Monkey King is just Hanuman, from the Ramayana and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
there's a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
Anime crossovers.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, Nurja, there's a Nurja balloon.
I can't
Freak
believe
this
you
guy out.
played Yocha there. I just,
Why not? That the kid's sleeping like a rock.
like a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
the kid didn't even move.
That's very normal, by the way, because of the small apartments and stuff in China.
Yeah, you
Children
double
very
up.
often sleep with the parents together. It's just normal in case people thinking it's weird or something. It's not.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
very, very funny.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
This guy's getting some revenge. He's doing the classic lower the tire pressure, right? Make it flat. And then pans over, it's a police car.
That's ballsy.
It's ballsy in China.
Yeah.
This is a cool guy.
Oh, he seems okay.
You played that one more
Okay,
time.
all right, I'll
Just
do
last-
one more
I don't
time.
mean to dwell.
Okay.
But the sound.
Yes.
It's just, he's been drinking. He's like cool guy.
Yeah, he's like, I'll show
Cool
you
guy
guys
energy.
a trick. Yes. Anyway, he's okay. He's okay.
He gets up and
He does.
he goes, ta-da!
He did a judo roll, you know?
He did. Oh my goodness, that sound though.
Yes.
It was almost like a song. It was
By the way, the guy letting down the air, he doesn't know the proper technique. He's supposed to take a small stone.
Yeah, and
you
then
put in the cap,
you
and
can
then
just
you
walk
can just
away.
walk. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, what's going on
We've
here?
never done that.
No.
China makes stunning accusation about which country should be blamed for the COVID outbreak. You guys probably remember the White House put a thing about COVID origins, which
Yes.
is very welcome. Congratulations to the White House for doing that. Finally, someone's talking about the fact that COVID came from China,
Yeah.
from Wuhan, from the freaking lab.
Where
right?
it was being,
But-
invented or
yes.
whatever.
So China
Yeah.
puts this out. This is just hilarious. They put out a white paper, and it blames. I'm not going to make you sit through it.
Yeah.
It blames the U.S. for the origin of COVID.
Of course, because they can't lose face. They're like, oh, you say it comes from us? Nuh-uh, it came from you.
I'm so tired of not just what China's doing because they can't admit what happened. I'm so tired of people that look at this like some sort of shouting match where it's like, oh, like both sides can't admit it, or like both sides are upset about this, or both sides got to be right. No. One side did it, and one side didn't do it.
Yes.
One side lost 1 million people to another country's mistake.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Again, people like to get mixed up. I made a video about this. They get mixed up in like American domestic politics, and they'll start pointing fingers at Fauci and
All that
gain of
stuff,
function and vaccinations and all this. But
And that's a different conversation.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Let's just say there's some evil masterminds wanted to develop this horrible thing. So they go to China, to this lab, and they're like, let's develop this together. Because China was already developing this stuff. They were already researching gain of function. They were already researching the coronaviruses from the bats. We know they were doing that anyway. But like, let's say these guys went and they paid
Let's say
China
it's
to
the worst version of what everyone
Yeah,
thinks.
the worst version. Let's say these horrible like backdoor guys, they go there and they're like, let's make this gain of function, haha, and they pay China or they like fund the Chinese lab to do it. The Chinese lab is the one where it leaked from. China's the one that covered up the spread of it and the outbreak.
And then blamed it.
Yeah, so I liken it to if you paid somebody to build a house for you, okay, and they build the house, you move in and it collapses on you and kills your family. It's not your fault. You paid for the guy to do it. It's the guy who didn't do the good job, who didn't put the right load-bearing structures in, the guy who didn't follow the safety regulations.
Yeah, and it's almost
China.
actually malicious on top of that because China, if you guys don't remember, they let their citizens leave but not travel domestically.
Yes.
Because they knew it was transmitting and killing people like
Correct.
left and right.
And at the same time convinced the WHO to tell
Yes.
everyone there was no human-to-human transmission when they knew there was already. Anyway, we've gone through this a lot of times. China's the one at fault here, and it's kind of not secure.
I just wanted to show that
Yeah.
their own website's not, their government website is not secure.
Of course.
That's great, guys. Just remember, the Wuhan Institute of Virology was right here, 7 miles away from the outbreak in the Huanan seafood market, okay?
Yes.
Can we just remember that?
Of course.
It's the lab that made a virus
The
that
same
came from
virus.
bats that spread to humans that operated like COVID did. Can we just end it there?
It's simple.
Thank you, White House.
Everybody
for
knows.
putting that website up, and it's linked below in case you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Can we move on?
Let's move on.
Actually, can we make China answer for this?
Actually, yeah, let's not move on. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's go back and say, China, you know, like all my dead relatives and the people that died and everything, you're kind of at fault here. Let's get some
Chinese government, yeah.
Let's get some compensation.
Yes.
You know, you got to take the blame.
Yeah.
You can't just get away scot-free. It's got to be done.
It reminded me of something because I think people forget, even though COVID is so recent, China's done such a good job of like covering its tracks. I want to play some COVID memories.
Okay, let's do a quick COVID memory, guys.
Just one today. Remember when China did this to millions of people?
Yep.
They locked them into metal boxes and some of them starved to death. Because they weren't allowed to.
One of the most traumatic things in modern history, and
Yes.
people have just forgotten about it.
Yeah.
We won't let you forget, don't worry.
Next time on COVID memories.
But let's move on to something more fun, guys. We're not here to talk about COVID because everybody hates that topic, and so do we.
Yes.
We've got a woman in a shop.
We do. We were having a debate the other day
Yeah.
about this is a woman's obviously scared of cats. A
Yes.
cat ran in, and you called being afraid of cats a disease.
It is.
You
It's
said
a disease.
It's a disease.
It's a disease.
I said it's a phobia.
Yeah.
You said a phobia is a disease.
Well, I just said it makes a person not at ease. So
Maybe
it's
a
disease.
disorder.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
disease.
It's
yeah,
a disease.
it's a dis-ease. Yeah, it is. What's it called? Alluriophobia or something?
Something like
It
that,
is a
yeah.
phobia. Yeah.
I'm scared of her scream.
Yeah. Wow.
That's my phobia.
Absolutely.
You have any phobias?
No.
No?
None that I can think of. I mean, the things I don't like.
Yeah, but that's not a phobia.
Yeah, but there's nothing that'll make me like screech and run out of a room.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no. Ain't got none.
Yeah, maybe you just haven't come across it yet.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see what's next.
Look at that pile of phones. Whoa!
Oh,
Accidental hot girl hug.
Yeah. You know what's You know what's happening here is they're about to do the training. You know, outside of hairdressers or beauty salons or whatever, they always do training.
Yes.
And they get the staff to dance.
That's
and
why he's holding their phone.
yeah, exactly. And they're not allowed to have their phones at that time, so he's just collecting them all. But yeah, that was a good save.
You got accidental
Yes.
triple hugged.
Nice.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Oh well, let's move on from that.
I don't know what to say about
There's
that.
nothing you can say. This is hilarious. By the way, don't worry, this isn't real. This is a training exercise.
But in the middle of the day,
Yes.
in a hospital, in public.
They do this often.
Yes.
And that's because, sadly, there are a lot of attacks at hospitals, specifically against the doctors
Yeah.
and nurses.
Yes.
We've personally seen the aftermath.
wanna
Yeah,
talk
it's
about that.
horrible. So,
Actually, almost current math.
yeah,
It was kind of just happening.
Yes.
When we saw this.
yeah, exactly. It was really horrible.
We basically, we saw the blood being washed away from a hospital
Yeah.
where, was it 8 nurses were stabbed to
yeah,
death?
8. And it was just around the corner from where you
Yeah,
lived.
yeah.
And we went, there was like blood everywhere. We're like, what's going on? Anyway, since I used to train doctors, I knew about this a lot. Doctors do get targeted because what will happen is a doctor will treat a patient and the patient will die. And then the
Yeah.
family will blame the doctor for not doing a good enough job and come seek revenge.
Yeah.
And this is tied into bribery and all sorts of things too. So it's understandable if you understand the culture. Anyway, because you have a lot of these stab incidents
play it, goes on
at
for a
hospitals, you have to have these training every once in a while to make sure the security guards can stop a stabby guy, right?
Yeah.
But this particular one is quite funny. Here comes the
Probably all
hero.
quite funny.
Yeah, here comes the hero.
Yeah, I love the hero. He's the hero. Really getting in there. I love how it's in the middle of the day with like people just watching on the balcony.
Yes. See, he falls over. The guy with the shield's a hoot.
Yeah, watch the guy with the shield. He's the best.
Yeah, he puts his helmet back on. Here he comes. I'm gonna get ya. I'm gonna get ya.
Gonna get you. Gonna get you.
Well, there goes his helmet again. Oh, let me get my helmet. Oh, whoa. Dude, this guy sucks. Is he drunk?
I don't know.
I mean, look at him. He's like, oh,
he drunk?
doesn't he look like what a
does
drunk
look kinda
person would
drunk.
do?
I feel like I would
like-
do that.
Yeah, if I was,
drunk.
I feel like he's got to be drunk.
Oh yeah, Baijiu at lunch. They do that a lot.
Yes, that's true.
They drink hard liquor at lunch sometimes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. What's he gonna do? There he goes again. Oh, there goes his helmet again. Dude, can you learn about a helmet strap?
He doesn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know about a strap.
His other two friends know.
He's a strapping young lad. He looks like an old man.
Yeah.
He looks like malnourished.
What?
I just
is
thought
going
this is sad.
Oh, is that?
It was one
Yeah,
of
little
those
dog.
moving, yeah.
Oh, the
He
moving.
just wants to get pet.
Yeah. Oh, that is kind of
It
sad.
makes me sad. I want to pet that poor dog.
Yeah.
This is a Ultima driver.
Yes.
He's delivering, but he's showing off. And he
Well-
hits a button. See, lost all the
Yeah.
delivery.
Don't show off, bro.
Oh my goodness! So this is what's been happening in China on the lighter
Yeah.
side of things. But what's been happening in our world has been fantastic.
Oh, you know, before we even get into this point of view, pervs and sea milk.
You
Okay.
pause it on something where people can see kind of what we're about to see.
Okay.
So they can get excited.
All right.
That's boring.
It's all right, but
right.
don't want them to
All right,
miss
okay,
it. I just
okay.
wanted to say, guys, we've got such a crazy show coming up. So
Yes.
before we get into it, let's tell you what you missed on Monday.
It's actually going to be a mini documentary.
Yes. This is just like they're being attacked by excavators.
They'd be like, "No, you come to the fire now."
Right.
Singing Bible songs. And it said, "No, Speed Racer, no!" And it had pictures of our scooters.
Yeah, you're not a peeping Tom who's out in public who should be actually just thrown in jail.
We'd pretend like we had a boombox. We'd like push a rock or something. We'd be like, "Okay, Harvester of Sorrow."
Oh, boy.
Just a little bit earlier on, they're just asking for kisses and stuff.
Yeah, now it's just full-on harassment.
Our last episode of Xiaoban Ho, which is on patreon.com/JV podcast, was episode 147, where we talked about China's remote control pervs.
Yes.
Now, China's remote control pervs is a new phenomenon in China's live streaming industry.
It's insane.
I'll give you a little taste, but basically what it is it went through stages. We give you 6 levels of how bad this got.
Yeah.
And recently it's been at the worst level. And basically what it is you as a user use your phone to watch a live streamer, but you control something on the other end. So a remote control car usually. And it's devolved into absolute nonsense.
Yeah, so it's like a remote control with a camera, and
Yes.
while the like a woman is live streaming, then you get to control it, and it's,
But there's levels to it.
you can guess where it's going.
Here's some quick overview of the levels.
哎呦我去，马上他要翻呐！小心小心，要翻啊要翻啊！哎呦我操！哎呦哎呦哎呦！
Hello，两位妹妹，能不能帮我个小忙？
小红，你还在吗？小红，狐狸反抗了。
So you kind of get the idea. But anyway, we go into serious depth.
Yes.
And it's basically a documentary about this phenomenon that's probably taken off over the past 3 months or so.
Yeah.
And that's what we do on our secret show. We
Yep.
do stuff we can't do on normal YouTube. It's our Patreon. It's the best way to support us. It's currently half price. And there's some other episodes we've done. China's sus delivery driver core videos recently we've done. You'll get access to all of these, by the way.
Yeah, dangerous medicinal things people are eating.
We got arrested at Whataburger. Enough said.
Yeah. It's so silly.
China Insanity Pro Max WTF is even happening. That is the best episode ever in terms of one clip we showed that you can, if anyone ever says China's the future, you hand them this clip.
Yes, exactly.
And
Then
you're
you'll
done.
know. You'll know.
They won't say anything.
Nope.
Anyway, it's currently half price. Xiaoban Ho half price sale. Get locked in while you can. The VIP live tier means you can watch it live as
Yes.
we do it, and you get a we may give people handwritten Chinese
Chinese names, yeah.
You pick the next episode. We vote on topics. We do all this kind of interactive stuff. It's very
Yeah,
fun.
exactly.
So go check it out if you can.
Please do. If you have the means, we'd love to see you there. It's so much fun.
Yeah, our upcoming episode is what?
Yeah, it's going to be near misses, like insane near misses. We wanted to show everybody here. This is an example of what we're going to be covering.
This coming Monday.
Yeah, this Monday. This guy, I'd like you to pay attention to him. He's just chilling out. And then something touches him. He's just chilling. So you can see him over there, right? He's standing next to the brick. See, something touched him.
It's like a wire.
Like a little cable or
Yeah.
something. It's like, I wonder what could be happening here. By the way, you can see it was on the 27th, so we're looking at like just a few days ago.
Yeah.
Bam! Don't worry, he's okay. He's okay. He escaped. Near miss. You can see his head popping up behind that bush. Can you see the bush?
In that bush.
Yeah, hiding in the bush.
He's kind of like whack-a-mole failed, you know.
I'll just play that again because it's quite incredible. It happens. Sorry, I'm
Not
going
today,
back to-
Satan.
Yeah, it's one of
Like you
those. Yeah,
said. Satan
exactly.
was playing whack-a-mole with
Yeah,
some
exactly.
cranes.
I mean, take a look. So the cable from the crane like brushes his shoulder or something, and he's like, "What's this?" And then he's like, "I'm out of here!" Bam! Wow. I mean, insane. Absolutely insane. So Monday's show is going to be all about these kind of close calls. We have a huge collection of these kinds of clips, so we'll be discussing them and showing you that sort of thing.
Yes.
It's pretty crazy, isn't
Look
it?
at the aftermath of this.
Yeah,
That's nuts. China's so freaking dangerous.
it really is. Yeah, wow. The fact that he escaped that is a miracle.
Yeah.
You know? You
I
believe
bet
in
he didn't.
miracles?
I bet he didn't take life for granted after that.
No. No.
Wow.
Yes, he's
Anyway.
going for the deluxe Young Joe Chow Fun tonight.
Yes.
Live it up.
Anyway, you go to patreon.com/ADV podcast, support us at one of the top 2 tiers, either $20 or $10. You get access to all of 100 plus Shaban Ho episodes.
Yeah.
It's stuff we can't show on YouTube. It's great stuff. It's fun stuff. It's the best way to support us, and it's part of the community. The Shaban Ho community is amazing. You'll get to see who is Ryan, and you'll know who is Ryan.
So, guys, today we have a super chat goal.
Yes.
We've done this twice before. This will be the third time we ever done this. If we reach the goal today, we shall be gifting to the audience one of our older episodes.
Everyone.
One of the good, everyone. Not just everyone. An oldie, but a very good one. Which one are we gifting
not
this time?
old.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like
It's a previous episode.
that's the correct way to say it.
a previous Shaban Ho episode, and this time, this is going to be, are you ready?
Yeah.
This episode is going to be episode, I believe, 46 or something. Let me see. I'm going to set a timer here for an hour.
Okay. So we have an hour to reach the goal.
Yes, it's Chinese amusement parks. Can you
Yeah.
please explain why that's amazing?
Guys, there are these. I mean, it's a different level in China. Amusement parks are insane.
Yeah.
And so we show you some of the crazy things that happen in amusement parks because they're very haphazard, they're very put together, they're very dangerous, they're very wild. It's like the Wild West of amusement parks.
Yes.
Did we show us on the roller coaster as well?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, it's
It's
fun.
It's full of injury. It is shocking. It's very funny, but it'll put hair on your chest. It'll wake you up, and it'll go, I would never go to a Chinese amusement park.
Yes.
It's basically a rundown of how a Chinese amusement park works.
Yes.
With our personal experiences and some on video.
Yeah, so if
you're gonna wanna see it.
if we hit the super chat goal, we will release it straight away.
Yeah.
And then it will go in the description and it'll be available for everyone to watch.
Correct.
Anyway, it's time for us
Goal
to
is
continue.
live now, by the way.
The goal is
so
live.
feel free to chime in, send in your super chat. We'll still read your question at the end.
Yeah.
And fill up that goal, and then everyone will get that episode.
Excellent. Let's continue on with the show. Okay, so what is going on
I just
here?
wanted to show you. Could pause that.
Oh.
You made that,
I did.
and
Well, I mean, that's not true. I didn't make
you
that.
didn't make that. Is the
I just-
stupidest garbage picture I've ever seen in my life. It is such schlock.
I wanted like a
AI
90s dude, you know?
Like at 90s attitude.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
got
what we ended up getting.
That is.
Go. We need to do a public service announcement
Yeah.
because
Consumer Reports.
have you guys seen these ads?
What?
Because I mean, this crap has been going on forever about these AI dogs, right?
They're like hyper realistic robot.
The
dogs.
best robot dog ever, and it shows like kids laughing at these dogs, and
I
it's,
see them on every social media
yeah,
platform.
it's just like you know,
It's like, order this now.
this AI robot dog.
People are like, I want to get this from my
It
mom.
shows like some random white people in a factory making them, and you're like, what is this?
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're literally everywhere.
So we got annoyed to the point because we know it's some schlock like shop dripping garbage from China. We wanted to know what it was.
Drop shipping, yeah.
Yeah, what did I say?
This is shop dripping. But you know what? It's kind of the
It's the
same.
same thing. I'm sorry. Wow.
These are the drippings from the shop.
Yeah, these are the shop.
Give us
dripping.
a wow so good for that one.
Okay,
Come
I
on,
will.
come
These
on.
are-
Wow, so good.
Yeah, I knew
Yeah,
it.
he probably does.
He loves this fake AI white guy making them in a factory. By the way, do you know why they do that?
Why?
It'll turn out this is Chinese, obviously, but they're doing that to show, because of the tariffs, they don't want to show Chinese people in a factory. They're like, oh, don't worry, they're made in America. And they show like a white guy making it in
Exactly.
a factory.
Yeah.
Such a scam.
It is scammy.
Anyway, so these are everywhere. Just keep playing.
Okay, my puppy Milo.
They're all over the place. Like,
Yes.
realistic robot dog. Wow.
I mean,
handmade.
it's a mixture of AI and real dogs.
Most of the dogs are real.
like
And then
real
those are
puppy
AI,
videos.
yeah.
Yeah.
These are just regular puppies, right?
Yeah.
And then those are AI.
Yes. It walks and runs.
That's just a real dog.
Yes, it's just a puppy.
So I wanted to chase this down and find out what this actually was. Is this some sort of malware or whatever? Turns out when you go through enough menus,
Yes.
eventually it takes you to a website that has a portal that sells these for about $30, and it says, hurry up, there's only like 98 left.
Yeah.
And it says like only 10 minutes left or whatever, and you refresh it. It's like only 10 minutes left, and it counts down. Only
Yes.
10 minutes left.
Yeah.
It's just this artificial scarcity, and it turns out it's this piece of trash.
Yes.
Just trash.
Absolute garbage.
But it adds insult to injury here,
Yeah.
right? So 8,000 people are viewing this right now.
yeah. 5770.
5-7, yeah, whatever. What the offensive part of this is that not only is it just this piece of crap thing, but when you go on like AliExpress, it's actually
like
going.
$1.
Yeah, it's not $30. It's like $1.
$1.5, $1.50.
They're like $1.
Yeah. This thing. Okay.
Yes. So these like absolute trash Chinese toy.
Yeah.
300% markup.
But hold
or
on.
whatever, 3,000%
Yes.
markup.
So we found a guy who bought one.
Yeah.
And so we thought we'd share what he found.
You haven't even seen what it can do yet. In the commercial, they showed it running around and realistically looking from side to side. The one I received runs on 2 AA batteries, so in theory it should be able to walk. It even has a mechanism inside for that. But does it actually work? Well, that's a bit of a stretch. Here's what it actually does.
I'm sorry.
AI Roberts, dude, that's Sarai AI.
Yes.
Is that not?
Now
Absolutely.
here's how they portrayed it in the ad. The only function I can 100% guarantee will work all the time is this.
Pause that real quick. That's Sarai AI. Is it not?
Yeah, there it is.
Never take China's tech boom seriously.
No,
I'm serious.
Honestly, whenever you see this living in the future and all
Yeah.
this, and it's all nonsense. And this again proves it. I'm sure you've all seen those puppy ads, right?
Yeah, they have.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yeah, we got a little more.
This will be the reason if this episode goes viral that we're doing right now. It's going to be this
You
clip.
reckon so? Let's find out.
You guys
we've-
remember this?
Yeah, we still look at all the carnage and stuff.
No.
coming in.
I'm not saying it's the best part. It's the funniest part.
Okay, right, let's see.
A group of dancing grannies are
Oh, it's so
enjoying
loud.
their relaxing time. But did you notice? A special friend joined them today.
A friend?
Just reminder.
A friend?
Throwback.
A friend?
This is new
A friend?
development,
A friend?
the Robert sphere.
Yes.
You guys remember that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Who can forget?
Can't forget. China's robotics industry.
Yes, it's humanoid robots.
Yes. Pause it right when it comes up so we can show. Okay, so this is a glimpse into China's robotics future. If you haven't seen our last episode, I highly recommend to go check it out because we covered their half marathon that they did with the robots.
Yeah.
And the propaganda showed all these victories and it was amazing and all this stuff. What we showed was actually what people filmed on their cell phones.
Yeah.
Which was a bunch of robots exploding
And
into
failing and
plastic
just
pieces
falling
and
down.
falling on their face. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of toys.
Yes.
That
All
sucked.
remote controlled toys.
Now, China keeps lauding itself as the future of robotics and stuff.
Especially humanoid.
Humanoid robots. We just keep seeing so many failures, and this is the latest, and this is actually terrifying.
Yeah. Let's
This is
take a quick
scary.
look. All right. So I'll get us out of there. These guys are busy, obviously, running a test, or they're about to
Robots on the hook.
activate it or whatever.
Yeah. Robots on that red hook.
Yes. And as you can see, it just loses
It
control.
starts trying to attack them.
Yeah, looks like it smashed their
Oh
laptop.
my-
It smashed
It
everything.
smashed everything. Because
Yeah.
it's metal, right?
Yeah, it's scary.
The guy is super
Yeah.
scared. But hold on. We
Yeah.
found the original. So that was you guys, if you had seen that on social media because it
Yeah.
just broke, we actually found the original audio.
Yeah. So
Can you turn it up?
yeah, here we go. Turn it up. Make sure you can hear this. Okay, let's see the original audio of that clip.
It really gives you some perspective. And you know what's weird?
What?
All of China's robots seem to be, before they go crazy, they seem to be saying the same thing.
Yeah, they are. It's
Do you guys remember play that soundbite? Remember all the other ones?
I know, it's like they go kind of crazy. Yeah.
We
They
did
certainly
slow
do.
it down so you could watch their reactions.
Oh, okay, yes. Let's take a look at their reactions. All right. Here you go.
Look at the guy.
The guy, I mean, wouldn't you react in the same way?
Dude, it's so scary.
Absolutely.
I hate that so much.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I love it. And more of that, please.
Yes.
Obviously, hopefully nobody gets injured.
No, I don't want anyone to get hurt.
More robot attacks, we have more content.
Agreed. Wow. Okay, so
Now the important stuff.
Now we're getting on to the important stuff. You know what? All sorts of chaos happens in China every day. Okay, like insane stuff.
Yeah.
But I seem to always see patterns to the chaos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 1 week it'll be bridges collapsing. The next week it'll be factories on fire.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's like it comes in groups.
You know why?
Why?
Because a lot of it's intentional.
Yes.
It's people doing it on purpose.
Correct. So this week, well, I'll just play the intro clip.
Wow, look at that.
China's week on fire.
All right, let's see what we got.
Okay, so we're going to start on April 28th, as you all know, it's only a couple days ago. This is in Urumqi in Xinjiang.
Yep.
This is called the Wild Horse International Building, Yema, which I guess means Mustang.
Yep.
On fire, of course.
Yep.
So, bam, we got a big fire in a big city. All right, that happens. We all know that happens. But the interesting thing is, it's like every single day, pretty much in this week, there was a big fire.
Yeah, and it wasn't just a fire.
No.
Some of the stuff was, well, at least rumored to be intentional.
Yes.
And one of them is an actual, like, it looks like a freaking terrorist bomb went off.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
insane.
Yeah. So who knows what caused this particular fire? It's hard to say, but this...
But fire on the mind for a lot of people in Urumqi and Xinjiang because of what happened during the COVID lockdowns. They actually welded people in their apartments, and they all burned to death.
Yes, and that caused pretty much the end of COVID zero. Now here, this is the next day. Well, this is actually quite horrible. You've got a bunch of what are called Tejin, which are the special police, basically SWAT.
They're not rescue.
No.
No.
And they are all posted on this one road here. You can see their vans. You can see them all standing around.
Those are the guys that make people disappear. Those are not there to be like, oh, are you safe? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you can see on the other side of the road, they're there too.
It's important to know what their function is.
Yes. So, you know, you got to think, why are there so many police? Why so many special police on this one road all parked there? What could be the reason for it?
Yeah.
Well, it's more sinister than you think. They're there to stop people coming and filming and looking at the scene of a terrible fire that happened at this Cook Lady restaurant on the 29th of April. So a day after the Urumqi fire.
So blocking people from filming a disaster to upload it online is more important than helping victims.
Yes.
Yes.
There's no reason to have the special police at the scene of, and it's the day after, right? And they're doing repairs and stuff. You don't need to have them there. The thing is, this really spread online, and it's an unfortunate tragedy. It's a restaurant. 22 people died.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Well, that's what they
that's what they claim.
If,
And
that's usually way low.
it's very hard. It's so hard to tell.
Yeah.
You know, because usually they say no casualties or very few.
Usually, yeah.
If there's if you can see 1 or 2 dead people in the footage, they'll say 1 or 2 dead people.
We'll see footage that'll have 20 dead people in it, and then China will say there is 0 casualties.
Correct.
You know, it's crazy.
But, you know, again, this was a serious fire, and unfortunately, it's a tragedy. 22 people in the restaurant lost their lives, and, I mean, that's at bare minimum, because that's what the Chinese government is admitting. And it's only because we had so much footage coming out of there.
Yeah.
Again, they can't hide it.
It was such a big fire.
Yeah. So what do? They sent the police, the special police, to sit on the street in front of the restaurant to make sure nobody comes and talks about it or takes photos or makes videos.
And the meta aspect, the breaking the fourth wall aspect of that is it's so people like us don't show you.
Yeah.
That's the end goal.
Yeah,
Is
correct.
to make sure nobody, they wanted, why China's safe? Because China's safe and they want you to know it because they want you to invest in China. They want you to see them as the way out in this crazy world. China needs foreign investment like crazy right now. So all this kind of stuff counts against it. Do you think you're going to get massive foreign investment when the whole country's on fire? If people are setting factories on fire,
Yes.
people are dying everywhere, like what? That's not good PR.
No, it's not. Anyway, moving on from this tragedy, the next day, let's see when this when this finishes. Oh yeah, just again to remind you, how did they respond? They've put up a big blue tarp around it and they set the special police. I see 3 vans, and there's got to be like 15, 20.
Those are
there's
black-
like a
those
whole
are
bunch
black-
on the other side.
Those are black bag police.
Look, and I don't want to keep harping on about this, but let's quickly take another look. Let's go back. So you can see behind the vans there, like at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 police all lined up on that side of the road, right? You can see them there in the black. And 3 vans. But when you look on the other side of the road, so let's see.
The people looking are confused as to why the special
you can
police
see
are there too.
in the distance there are like 3 or 4 police there, maybe even more under the bus stop, and then 1 here. I mean, there's a lot of police just to stop people from seeing the side of a tragedy.
Yeah.
You know?
Or to talk about it. If you block it off and you physically censor it,
Yeah.
then nobody will know what's happening.
That's right. And it's they want the news cycle to quickly refresh. They want people to forget about it because so many big tragedies happen.
Yeah.
And that's the way they deal with it. They block it off, they censor it, they put up barriers. People don't.
You remember when that,
Remember.
it wasn't that long ago, actually, the gym collapsed, I believe.
Yeah.
Was that on the high school?
And killed all those
Killed all the students.
young the volleyball team. It's
Yes.
tragic.
Whole volleyball team dies or
Yeah.
whatever. And the parents come in, the parents don't even know what's going on. They're like, where's my kid? I heard that they died or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the police like shut the whole thing down. Wouldn't let
Yeah.
them talk about it. Blocked all their stuff. They were like, don't talk about. Remember they sent in a party official. They like, do not release any information about
Yes.
this to the parents that are crying.
Yeah. Yeah, remember that.
That's China.
And we've got something similar coming
Yeah,
up in the
yes.
show later. Anyway, April 30th, so the next day, in this Fengjingjia
right.
community in Taiyuan and Shanxi. So this is all over the country, right? This
Yes.
is not in one
No.
concentrated area. In this residential area here, you see all these lovely residential blocks they have over here.
过来看一下，那个下面那个有个不知道房子那啥爆炸了，看这所有的窗户都烂了。
So what's happened here is there was a massive explosion. What she's pointing out is the rear windows of her apartment and the front windows of her apartment were blown out. Both. That's a hell of an explosion. Because usually it'll be like one side near
Yeah,
the
wait till you see
explosion.
the
看
aftermath.
这炸一炸，炸成啥了？你过来看看啊！你看下面的房子，所有的房子都爆炸了。你看那车，
You can see the cars and stuff on fire down there.
Is this Syria?
Yeah, I mean,
看好多房子都烂了。你过来看看你这家不能住了啊！
Just play it through. There's a lot
I
of
will.
footage.
I will.
你看炸成
I just
啥
wanted
一下
to explain what she was talking about. So you can see the cars on fire there. The explosion was massive. Obviously, we've had to blur certain parts of it because of injury. We don't want to show injury. Yeah, because there's some fairly seriously injured people there. Again, no word of any casualties. That's the crazy part. There have been no casualties announced.
In a residential explosion that blew out everyone's things, like blew up 20 cars plus,
Yeah.
blew up an entire building.
I mean, look, you can see from a distance.
It was a massive explosion.
Huge. So the fact that people's like windows were all blown out all around it, like the actual epicenter of it, whichever apartment it came from or wherever it came from, whoever was in that exact vicinity must have just been completely vaporized.
By the way, not a word about this.
Yeah.
Not a word. The other one with the 20-something people died in the restaurant had to get out because it was just so documented
Yeah.
that they're like, okay, quick news story, okay, and then pull it, whatever.
Yeah.
This, I didn't see a word.
Not yet. And I mean, that's the thing. You would expect them to release at least casualty figures by now.
Yeah.
Who knows if there'll be an update, but it just shows you that this craziness happens all the time in China.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't look that bad now when you see them trying to put out the fire, but that's the aftermath.
Look at this.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
Can you see how many cars?
It's like a war zone
all around, all those houses. How did that happen? It's such a massive
Did you see the explosion? Yeah.
You know, the explosion wasn't caught on camera, just the aftermath.
No, but you saw the hole.
Yeah.
Right. The hole. Oh, you didn't see it? Yeah, there's a giant hole in the side of the building.
Really? Let's go back. Sorry, I missed that.
No.
No, I know. So here.
Yeah. Look on the left. Left.
Oh, is that where it came from?
Look at it. I mean, it's a giant hole.
Yeah.
It's a giant gaping hole.
It's possible, but it looks like a load of apartments obviously were gutted from the flame. You can see there when everything was on fire. Of course.
I mean, it looks like a bomb went off.
Yeah. If you have an explosion next to all those electric vehicles and other vehicles there too, it's going to cause just chaos, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, China is just such a danger. It's just the lack of regulation. No, there's not lack of regulation. Lack of enforcement.
Yeah, lack of enforcement. There are tons of regulations. They're just never enforced.
And too much corruption.
Yes.
You pay for your license for building safety. You pay for your license for your elevator safety. You pay for your license for your kerosene safety. Mm-hmm. You bribe officials to store stuff you're not supposed to.
So like we mentioned earlier, some people, and of course this is not confirmed, but some people say that it was a revenge against society attack. Yeah. And that deliberately
multiple people have said that.
Yeah, deliberately set that explosion off. And that's possible.
Yeah. Because
you know what? Again, we're not going to show it to you, but today there was another revenge against society attack where somebody plowed their car into pedestrians and bikes. It's just like it happens almost every day now in China.
Yeah.
Where somebody loses it and they snap and then they just drive into people.
So why would they not set a bomb off? Why would they not do,
Yeah, if they had the option.
They're stabbing kindergartners.
Yep.
Right? Why not just blow up a house?
Yeah, there's a huge problem with mental health in China and the fact that there's no way to treat it.
Yeah.
If someone has a mental issue, they can't go to a psychiatrist or something like that. There's no one to help them. There's no groups. There's no communities that can help them. So they snap, then they take it out on the public.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. So yeah, this is another big tragedy. Remember guys, we've shown you now over the span of 3 days, 3 major big tragedies. This huge one, then the restaurant where 22 people died, maybe more, and then that building that caught fire in Urumqi, which I'm pretty sure there were casualties.
Oh, this stuff's a daily occurrence.
Yeah.
This is relatively mild compared to that factory spell, but we're going to have to revisit that because recently there's been another big spell of that.
Yeah.
Setting factories on fire on purpose.
Mm-hmm. You know, the interesting thing is, though, when you look on social media, you know what you're going to see about China? You're going to see flashy cities, and they'll be like, look how advanced China's living in the future. Don't get to see this side of things. This is the real China. This is what's happening at the same time as the lights on the buildings, you know?
That's a good point. Recently, I've been seeing a huge push for that nighttime light up footage. So you guys would probably corroborate this. If you're on TikTok at all, you're probably seeing, and people have said they're just tired of it at this point, but people are seeing constant barrage of these cities at night footage. And cities at night being a Chinese city where they fly a drone around and they say, look at all these lights. China's living in the future. America's so far behind. It's collapsing, all this kind of stuff. It's just like America's bad, China good footage, but it's always cities at night footage.
Yes.
And the reality is that China doesn't look like that because anything looks good at night. You can show an impoverished African city at night and it looks very modern too.
Yes.
That's what lights do.
That's right. If you put lights and you set your exposure on your camera to pick up the light, you can make it look very nice.
The reality is China's dealing with a huge rash of basically domestic terrorism. Mm-hmm. Revenge against society.
That is domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
There's the ramming of people with cars.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day. You know how China was going on and on about how they cracked down on Muslim extremism or whatever in Western China.
Yeah.
And that's always celebrated and stuff, even amongst other countries or whatever. When they had relatively few domestic terrorist attacks from Muslims.
Yeah.
But you know what they do have every day is domestic terrorist attacks with revenge against society attacks, but that's not called domestic terrorism.
No.
Because it's Han Chinese people doing it, the majority of people.
Yes.
So what they do is they do it, and then it's just some sort of accident.
Yeah, somebody, had a mental problem.
Or they're drunk.
They were drunk,
yeah.
There's always an excuse, yeah. But you're right, it's a huge rise in domestic terrorism is what's happening.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's see what's next. So these were the 3 consecutive days of pretty big events.
Yeah, unfortunately, this one is devastating.
So now, this is something that you will exclusively see here on the China Show.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Do you
this
want to
is-
read about this
Yeah.
particular thing? Because before you read that, though, I would like everyone to pay attention to the police. What are they doing? They're doing that physical censorship garbage they love doing. Okay, can we see that?
Yeah.
See how they put the tarps up?
Yeah, see if we can get that guy to walk out of the shot so we can see properly.
There we go.
There you go.
So they're putting, you know what they're doing there? They're blocking off parents.
That's not a crime scene.
No.
It's not a scene where there's a body.
No.
No.
They're blocking parents. They don't want anyone to see the parents are there. And why would the parents be outside of this? This is a college, right?
This is a vocational college. yeah.
Vocational college.
April 27th.
Okay, so this is
Liuzhou.
April 27th.
Liuzhou in Guangxi province, okay, in southern China.
Yep.
Both been there.
Yes.
We went through there on our documentary. A student got sick at school.
Yep.
Okay. Died at the hospital pretty soon after. Parents were not notified or not able to see the body 4 days later.
Yeah.
So they went, so the body's not here. They died at the hospital.
Yes.
The parents go, okay, 4 days later, you still can't let me identify my dead child.
Yes.
They go to the school
To protest.
and they're like, let me see my child. We want to know what happened to my child.
We need answers.
But they wouldn't. They covered it up. They wouldn't let the parents ask questions or talk to anybody or even see their own child
Yeah.
at the hospital, not at
Yeah.
the school. So they went to the school to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
They got blocked off. The cops show up in a blanket. They put up the physical censorship blanket
Yes.
around the parents
That are there trying to get answers.
so that you, as a viewer right now that you're watching this live or you're watching it in post, cannot see or hear or know about this story.
I know,
Because
isn't it
China's
tragic?
reputation is more important than some grieving parents that have not been able to claim their child.
Yeah, so I mean, this has happened before, and we've shown similar stories here, because something must have gone embarrassingly wrong at the school, and it must have been a lapse of the school's safety or
Maybe,
something.
yeah.
I'm just guessing.
It'll
Again,
be
this is a
tied to the
guess.
government.
Yeah, there'll be something like either a government's child bullied the other one and killed them by mistake, or they committed suicide because of too much pressure, or you never know what it could be.
You don't know.
There's whatever the reason, the child mysteriously fell very ill at school, was taken to the hospital immediately, died at the hospital, and the parents have not been able to see their child for 4 days. So what do? They go to the gate of the school to try and demand answers. Cops are called to block them off so that nobody can ask anything about it. No questions are asked.
No.
You know?
No.
So what did we do about this school? We wanted to know a little bit about this.
Well,
This, you know?
this is grim.
Yeah.
It's obviously grim.
Yeah.
Again, China would rather censor anything than to face the truth.
Yes.
And because someone's head in the government would be on the line.
Yeah.
What I did want to do, though, is every time we explore an area that we haven't shown you before, for example, Liuzhou, wanted to take you on the ground into the city to give you an idea. So this college is in a main part of Liuzhou, a very major developed city in Guangxi, one of the bigger cities. Millions and millions of people. Huge
Yes.
city. A lot of development, a lot of aid. In fact, Xi Jinping had a visit there, so it's got a ton of priority, right? And
This is one of those cities you'll see the drone footage at night.
I'll show you later
Okay.
on that. But what I wanted you to do is take you away from this scenario, and that's actually look around the school. Because,
Yes.
again, this is in like a high priority, nice area.
Yes.
Because I always think it serves a purpose for you, because we know already. We know what China looks like. We've seen the entire country.
Yes.
But for you to understand that past this propaganda, what China actually looks like on the ground, I'm going to take you directly to this school. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So you see the entrance there. It's got the diamond patterns. You can see the name of the school.
Correct.
All right.
So beyond this footage, we want to take you on the ground and do some street views.
Okay.
So we're going to go beyond the Great Firewall, the stuff that China doesn't want you to see. And what they wouldn't want you to see in this scenario is maybe what it looks like in real life. Here's
Okay.
the school.
So you can recognize the entrance there. That's what we were just looking at, where they were hiding the parents behind the screens, right?
Yeah. And you can just let this roll. We'll just,
I will.
We'll
I
just,
will.
Yeah.
So I mean, nice day, by the way.
Nice day. Beautiful day. But this is on the main road in a major city, right?
Yes.
What happens when you go behind the school? So like where the dorms and stuff are. What happens when you're off of a main road in China and you can copy and paste this experience we're about to take you on in any Chinese city?
Absolutely every Chinese city.
Yes.
So they're the dorms.
So new development.
Yeah.
Right. Some
This
of
is the back.
the dorms and some of the classrooms. Right. But in reality, when you look around past that, see, look, there's a banner that was just there. It's relatively new, just unveiled. When you look around, it's still being built in some areas, right? If you look around that, let's actually go on the road. So this is literally one road off the main road.
Yes.
Right.
That's still the school dorms. That's the campus basically from behind.
Yes, it's another gate, right? Let's take you on a tour. So when you
can see the dorms in the distance, yeah.
In the classrooms. Those are the school buildings. This is, again, China in real life versus nighttime drone footage propaganda, right?
Yeah.
The street view car had to go on these streets because this is a normal road in China, in Liuzhou, and around the main area.
That's an X road, yeah.
Right? Yeah. Main area.
Yeah.
So we want to take you around. It's kind of interesting, not just to like say, oh, look at how crappy it is, but also to just give you an insight into what daily life looks like for the average city dweller in China, not a rural dweller.
You mean like that little kid just standing there all day?
Yeah, thinking about his future.
Uh-huh.
The average city dweller.
Yes.
This is not the countryside farmland.
No, it's not.
This is in almost the center of Liuzhou, a city with millions of people.
Correct.
In Guangxi in southern China. So it gives you a little insight onto what kind of, this corroborates everything we've seen in China. When you drive around China off of the main highway, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
And this is why, and it'll help you piece together something. Why does China put in billions of dollars to try to do outward-facing propaganda to make Americans think that China is better than America? Why do you think they need to do that? Well, this is the reality.
Yeah, because in reality, it's not all that great. What is that guy doing? He's really sus.
I was like, who's this guy?
He's doing something sus.
You think so?
Yeah, dude. It's like parking in a secret area behind the school there, dealing in something sus.
I think he's stealing gas out of that truck.
Maybe. Who knows?
He could just be doing nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
what you've got is like a bunch of nail houses here, type thing. Yep. Some of those are newly constructed.
Yeah, this is not old. The old stuff is the stuff with bricks. And when I say old, usually that stuff means it's from the 70s or 80s.
Yes. Look, that's got brand new burglar bars on it. They're all shiny.
These are new, right?
Yeah.
Some of these buildings are new. So this is your average city-dwelling citizen that's not in the shiny high-rise.
Yeah.
This is how the majority of Chinese people live.
They do.
And it's much worse when you get out into the countryside. Remember, this is basically a city center. When you get out into the countryside in China, it gets dire.
Yeah, you can see the new construction up there, right?
Yeah. And it's just a glimpse into, and I just wanted to do exactly where that story happens so you can have some more context here.
I wonder what happens here. It's like, hey, kids, get off my rubble.
You think they're...
instead of get off my lawn.
Yeah, get off my rubble.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
There is a guy at some point standing in said rubble. Isn't it just so grim? It's Syria.
It does look like it, yeah. I mean, it looks like a war zone. It actually does.
Yeah.
But this is,
this wasn't cherry picked.
No,
this was the shot we just showed.
Because we were trying to research the university, so we used the Baidu Street View, which, is like Google Street View basically. It's a knockoff of that, right? So we went down and we were like, what are we looking at here? Yeah. Because you wouldn't know if you saw, look, there's chickens on the road there.
Yeah, from that main shot, you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. And you know what? The thing is, this is exactly how we remember China.
Yeah.
It's exactly this.
Yes.
And,
this is the real China.
Anywhere you go in China, not any specific region or city, anywhere you go in China, once you
the main road.
Get off the main roads, once you start exploring, you'll start to see things like this.
And again, it's not even exploring, it's literally in the city.
Sure. It's next to this major university.
Yes.
So this is where the college kids, when they finish classes, if they want to go for like a romantic walk with their date, this is where they end up.
Quite literally. I mean, the gate of the university is right there.
It's not even a gate. You can go into this area. We'll drive through it.
I took you guys into the town here. We're going to go into the actual town.
Okay.
Which I think is kind of fascinating.
Okay, so you can see the street view up there. You saw it for a second.
Yes. We're at 22 out of 50 for the super chat goals.
Oh, excellent. Getting close.
Guys. Thanks. This is we're getting into the town here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like, this is basically the suburbs if you think about it.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
I would call this the suburbs.
It's right next to a huge university.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would expect to anywhere in the world, right next to a big university, you would expect it to be a fairly decent area,
Mm-hmm. But it is. This is a fairly decent area for China.
Yeah.
It is. Like, this is not below love par.
No.
You know what I mean? This
true.
is your average place.
You can see the university buildings there, actually, in the
Oh,
distance.
there's the dude. This is the guy.
There's a guy
he says,
standing in-
"Yo,
what?
pause that real quick. I'm not gonna make you pause it ever again."
Okay, whoops.
But you know what that guy does?
What?
His name's Mason.
Oh, let me get back to him. Is he here? He's close by.
He's on the left.
Okay. Okay, I went a bit too far back
That's all
as
right.
usual.
Don't worry about it.
He's coming.
He's coming. This guy's name's Mason. We actually know him pretty well.
Oh yeah, because good old Mason, this is what he does.
He likes to throw bricks.
He does.
If you know, you know.
He's got ample supply of them. Let's put
Yeah.
it that way. For those of you wondering about the rubble everywhere, this is quite normal. You'll get these.
I stood on one for
yeah.
a thumbnail.
What'll happen is in these particular kind of areas is they'll build these very cheap concrete houses because they live in those areas, right?
Yep.
But then they'll build them and they'll make them taller so that if the government comes to take the land away, they'll get compensated more per stories. Okay? So those particular ones that have been knocked down, that means they've already been compensated. They're going to get smashed and
Correct.
the government's going to come in and build something there. Right?
Yep.
But all the other ones that are not smashed, people will remain living in them.
Yes.
You know.
That's how it works.
For as long as they can before the government comes and forcefully removes them anyway.
Yeah.
It's usually the case.
Pretty vile, all the trash and stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
But what do you expect?
I mean, just take some pride in where you live, you know?
Suppose. I mean, the mentality in China is like, well, the government should be dealing with this because they're they're a communist government.
Yeah.
Yet they don't.
Yeah, exactly.
The communist government will take your land and house.
They do.
Yeah, they will literally do that.
Yeah.
That's what they're known for.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's, again, there's a very specific reason we're showing you this on the ground footage is because this is the reality of China. You can have thousands of these drone shots, and it's always of the same handful of cities, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You'll always see the same flashy buildings. It'll
Well,
always
they'll
be
even do it
Chongqing.
here, which I'll show
Yeah.
you in a minute. This is the town, by the way.
This is right outside the entrance, isn't it,
Yeah.
though?
So this is where you get your food. There's some restaurants. There's a little bar there. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
This is the China we know.
Yes, we've hung out in many a place. There's a little Chua place over there.
Little skewers. You get skewers there.
Chuan.
And people will sit there on their plastic chairs and drink beer and have fun. I mean, it's fun.
Oh, yeah, I got fond memories.
Me too.
Yeah.
But then you have to think about where you are.
Yes.
You look around and you go,
You also
"Damn."
got to wonder about the meat you're eating. like, where is it sourced?
And you
know?
have to actually be concerned about that.
Yes,
And this is the
you do.
kind of place you could get gutter oil for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
By the way, pause that there.
Okay.
See those bicycles?
Oh, yes. You can see there's a couple of bicycles there.
This is poetic
Mm-hmm.
because this is a little hangover of what happened in China.
The shared bike boom. There was a scam of a thing that happened, and it was insane. I've made a couple of videos about it in the past. But this shared bike investment fraud happened in China where they got so much money invested in them as long as they pumped out the bikes. And they produced millions and millions of bicycles. And obviously, it was too much supply. It wasn't enough demand. And so then other companies saw this as a great way to make money. They also started these startups, these shared bicycle startups. Millions and millions. Mobike, Blue, something or other. There was a whole bunch of them. And what happened was the guys that, the bosses of these companies, they'd steal all the money and run away. Then the bicycle companies would go bankrupt, and they would have millions of these bikes just trashing the place,
Everywhere.
all on the sidewalk, like blocking everyone's way. So the government actually basically picked them all up and threw them in these huge, like, open fields
Let's
and
see.
stuff. And this is just a small one.
Yeah.
This is a small
There's
one.
mountains.
It pisses me off a lot because the amount of energy that was used
Yeah.
to make these bikes.
Because the government simultaneously, when this happened, they made these hundreds of millions of bikes or whatever. Do you know what they did? They pushed to the rest of the world that you guys are doing nothing and we're going forward with green technology.
Yes.
We're making sure everyone has access to bikes that they pay for, by the way.
Yes, yes.
They beep with their cell phone or whatever. And then they get access to it. And then their carbon footprint goes down. Oh, yeah? Well, what about the carbon footprint making these hundreds
Yeah.
of millions of bikes?
They
that are now
wasted,
gone?
they destroyed the environment to create these things. Because think about all the energy you have to use to smelt the metal,
Yep.
to create the rubber for
Yep.
the tires, all the electronics, all the bits and pieces. They created this huge amount of waste. And then they weren't used, most of them. And they just ended up in these big landfills. So now what do you got to do? If you want to recycle that stuff, you have to use a whole lot more energy.
Yes.
Melting down the metal and all that.
It's...
One of the biggest wastes in human history. I have no idea how many of these things were made, but there were hundreds of millions of these things. If you've seen the piles, if you've seen the pictures and the footage, it's absolutely
This is just
insane.
a new one, by the way, because there's new footage. They're still dealing with it.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Every city had this.
So you will always find in these rubble piles like that stolen bikes, because they'll just, the locals will recycle them, try to sell them for scrap and things like that.
These dudes walking home. Imagine this is your life. You're strolling on home through the rubble, and you're like, wait, when did the bomb go off?
Sure. Yes. Fairly depressing, but it's really interesting. Our probably second or third ADV China episode that we filmed about superstitions, we rode into near our shop. Almost looks exactly the same. It's very far away from this.
I honestly could barely tell.
You would not know. I challenge our audience to go watch that and see if you can tell the difference between this particular little urban village and
because this is like thousands and thousands of times over as this village.
Yes.
As this neighborhood, I should say, because it's in a major city. The stairs look precarious.
Oh yeah, look how thin they are.
I like this. Look at this China graffiti. But my favorite part about that, I don't know if you've seen that. The China graffiti had minions.
Yes.
There was a minion.
It's your favorite. I like this better. Good study, day.
So good study, day up is a phrase in Chinese which means study hard and your future will improve.
好好学习，天天向上.
Yeah, so
that's actually a Mao Zedong quote. I believe.
Yes, and I think so. And if you translate it directly, it says good study, day up.
Yeah.
So they translate it directly, but then still got it wrong because they wrote instead of up.
Remember, I made those T-shirts. 好好喝酒，天天向上.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I wonder if they
drink alcohol, day up.
I wonder if they just didn't finish the sentence says good study, a day, your mom gay.
I mean, it's possible.
That's actually what they wanted.
Yeah, exactly. They got that wrong. So this is the same city.
Yeah. You see what they do?
Bam. Yeah, exactly. This is what you're seeing on the internet. You see this. But we've just shown you what it looks like on the ground next to a major university in that city.
Yeah.
China is the land of shortcuts and facades. And this is a facade. All of these things you see are a facade because they hide the filth and they hide the problems.
Yes.
Which China faces many. And it's such a disservice to the people of China.
It is.
Because everybody thinks China's got it all sorted out because, fairy lights.
That's it. You get spraying fountains with lights on it, and all of a sudden this is Liuzhou. No, Liuzhou is what we just showed. The vast majority of people live like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
ridiculous.
It is. It's dumb. So this is the same city. Yep.
This is what you get. This is the real life in China. Does not want you to see the reality.
Nope.
Because they want your investment money.
Yeah. China's living in the future, remember? Anyway, Soft Power Hour, guys. This is where we talk about how China's trying to change your mind. What's going on here, Simo?
So this is your average school. Kids are waiting in line to get some food at the cafeteria. But what you should notice is that everybody's studying as well. They're trying to cram for their tests.
Yes.
Right? In China, tests are the key.
Yeah.
You can bribe your way through the test. If you can't, you got to study. You got to do rote memorization, right? But the reason I'm showing this is because this is your average scene. But while they're studying
Doesn't it
math
look like a prison?
It does. While they're studying math or science or whatever they're doing right now, they're also doing this in the classrooms because this has been going around the Chinese internet in promotion of fighting back against tariffs. Because in China right now in the public school system, they're teaching their students a song about how America is bad and evil and terrible and how China is going to beat them in the trade war. Because just like the CCP does, they throw their citizens in front of the government as a meat shield.
Yes. There are a couple of things that's a little unnerving about this clip. We've shown in the past, we'll continue to show how they use children in their propaganda efforts, which I'm very uncomfortable about.
I hate that.
But they're also using a beauty filter on this phone, which is very strange.
They do that all the time on everything.
So all the children look very weird as a result.
Especially the boys with alien face.
Chin. Look at that little dude in the background there. He's like, whoa.
He'll pop up in a minute. Yeah.
So anyway, let's take a look at these lyrics.
U.S. raised tariff to play dirty. What an arrogant action.
I think you're not reading it in the right intonation. Isn't this a horrible thing to say? U.S. raised tariff to play dirty. What an arrogant action.
Okay. I do it better.
They thought it is a tough action. Actually, it is foolish and ridiculous. China's never afraid of this. We are a massive country with credit. Not quite sure what that. I mean, it's
yeah. With morals.
You put on tariff, I reciprocate. What else can you do with me, huh?
Like that, huh?
Yeah. Chinese people have the power to make U.S. nervous.
Kind of a terrible skill.
Yes. It's like, oh, you better watch out for that. China makes me nervous. You know what I mean? Like, what? It's like,
how about you spend some of this tariff money that you're bragging about or whatever and like fix your freaking classrooms, these poor kids.
I know.
This derelict wasteland.
Yep. Imperialism is set to fail. Isn't China doing neo-imperialism all over Africa?
For yourself and the BRI across the world.
Yes. I think China's probably the most imperialist country at the moment.
They've completely replaced America's past imperialism.
Yeah. They go into all these African countries everywhere, buying up ports. People,
yeah.
Yeah, it's
forcing
terrible.
African children in cobalt mines.
Yes.
Bro,
yeah.
Let's not even compare.
Yes, exactly. The rise of China is unstoppable. What's that? Say a lie enough and, it becomes the truth?
They don't even have air conditioning in their classrooms, by the way.
No.
In a lot of them.
No, they don't.
The majority of them, actually.
Oh, look, even when they do, they don't like to turn it on.
Like the walls are dirty and stuff. Here's the problem. No harm, no foul. These kids, not their fault.
Poor kids.
They are being indoctrinated into absolute hate. I'm just speaking to Americans here. If you have kids, are they coming home from school and singing songs about China sucks, their tariffs are really unfair?
Yes, we will defeat them with our stronger economy.
Yeah.
No.
You don't get taught that kind of stuff.
No.
Because your children...
I'm actually kind of mad. I get very mad because my daughter comes home from school and she would have learned something about China. A different culture. And when it's near Chinese New Year, she comes home from school and she's learned how to make a Chinese lantern.
Public school.
Yes. They do a dragon dance.
In rural public school in America.
Yeah. They make a little dance. They make a little thing about the different cultures. They do it for all cultures around the world. They learn the positives of other people's cultures. They don't get taught that China's their enemy.
No. But China literally is teaching the most vile hatred.
Yes.
This is a tiny little smattering.
Oh, dude.
I did a whole video expose on the textbooks. I translated a textbook.
Yeah, I remember.
It's
a good
bad,
one.
Dude.
Yeah, so they're teaching their kids now that America's the enemy because of the tariffs and that we will destroy them and America's arrogant and dirty and all this kind of stuff, right? It's ridiculous. And as we all know, they set up the Japanese flags to stomp on them, and it's childish. And at the same time, just absolutely abhorrent and disgusting that they treat children like this.
And I hate to say this, but they're getting ready for something. They're preparing their populace for something.
Yes.
Perhaps a Taiwan invasion where they have to get people to be like, oh shit, life sucks now.
Yeah.
But I got to be like back in my country or whatever.
Well, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson, the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson, put out this official video from the Chinese government.
Speak of the devil, by the way.
Yeah.
Getting people ready for something.
Yes. Okay, this is what it says, never kneel down. Let's take a look.
Have you heard of the eye of the storm? It appears calm for a moment, but is actually a deadly trap. The calm before an even fiercer storm. The U.S. has stirred up a global tariff storm and deliberately targeted China, playing a 90-day pause game with other nations, forcing them to limit trade with China. This is just like the deadly trap of the eye of the storm. Bowing to a bully is like drinking poison to quench thirst. It only deepens the crisis.
AI schlock.
You know what's very interesting about this is, they're talking about all this, America's targeting and all that, and then they show all this footage of job fairs applications to show that America doesn't have jobs. Then they showed, and then they showed that like derelict mining equipment from an ancient 1800s mine in America. It's like, oh, all the industry's gone away. Then they show the protests that they themselves funded in America. When you see all these protests that happen where it's like tax the rich and all this, like so
China's
many,
involved in a lot,
so
yeah.
many of those protests, those anti-government protests and these big divisive protests have government links to the Chinese government, and so that they can use it in things like this. You know what I mean?
They'll actually get people to hold up placards,
Yeah.
or especially like Chinese friendship organizations.
Yes. Yeah, they do.
This
So-
is the central government putting this.
Yeah, this
like
is
AI
this,
schlock
this,
video.
This is the Chinese government, and this is real footage here.
This is not social media.
Yeah, let's see where it goes.
History has proven compromise won't earn you mercy. Kneeling only invites more bullying. China won't kneel down because we know standing up for ourselves keeps the possibility of cooperation alive, while compromise snuffs it out. China won't back down, so the voices of the weak will be heard, bullying will be stopped, and justice will not disappear from the world. All bullies are just paper tigers.
Did you see that it had, again, they're calling the America a paper tiger. They have an actual picture of, okay, sorry, we have to show this part
Because
again.
we know standing up for ourselves keeps the possibility of cooperation alive. While
They show Meng Wanzhou, who avoided sanctions, broke the law, was arrested in Canada for breaking the law.
For Huawei.
Yes, for Huawei, for breaking sanction law. They kidnapped Canadian citizens, did this hostage diplomacy. She got to be free living in her mansion in Canada. She just couldn't leave Canada. She wasn't even under arrest. She just had an ankle monitor. They put these Canadians in like prisons with the lights on 24/7 and like tortured them.
Tortured them.
Yeah, for years until like there was basically a prisoner transfer here. But she got to live in her multi-million-dollar mansions and enjoy her life eating steak or whatever. But they're like trying to use this as an example.
compromise snuffs it out, China won't back down, so the voices of the weak will be heard, bullying will be stopped, and justice will not disappear from the world. All bullies...
See, do you see that? It's a paper tiger, but it's America. It's got the American flag on the tail.
That's a weird flex, by the way. China's literally known as the paper tiger. But you know what's funny is that this is a weird flex because that is the shittiest tiger I've ever seen in my life. That is like a child made it.
Yeah.
That's like, Mommy.
Yeah, look what I made.
I made it school, and they're like, that's really good, honey.
Look what I made in special ed class.
Wow, yeah, you know, no harm, no
yeah,
foul
exactly.
there, but yeah.
That's what they made.
Yeah.
They're just paper tigers. The U.S. does not represent the entire world.
What?
I get it.
Special
I get
ed,
what you're trying
special
to say,
ed
yes.
art class.
Yes,
You know.
yeah.
Trade makes up less than a fifth of the world's
We have the
total.
power to push
Yes.
When the rest of the world stands together in solidarity, the U.S. is just a small, stranded boat.
So the U.S. is just a small stranded boat, by the way. Okay? And then
Imperialists are always arrogant.
imperialists are always
Are you
arrogant.
speaking of yourself?
Yeah.
You're speaking of yourself with this very immature video.
Remember, guys, this is the Ministry of the Foreign Affairs. Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson put this out. That is the highest level of diplomacy to go overseas. It's like that's who addresses the rest of the world
Yes.
in an official capacity
Yes.
from the government. And they're like, imperialists are always arrogant. America's a paper tiger. America's a stranded boat by itself. Oh, imperialists are always arrogant. If they show a bit of reason.
If they show a bit of reason, it's only because they're forced to do so.
What does that even mean? By the way, only 9 minutes left on the super chat goal, so give it we have a couple.
okay.
We have 10 left.
Oh, wow.
ahead.
Okay.
Make no mistake, the U.S. will keep flip-flopping and playing hardball. But China will stand firm. No matter how hard the wind blows. No matter how clouds rage.
Oh, wow, that
Why
wasn't
did
a very
that crash?
elegant. That wasn't an elegant landing of their probe, their fake CG probe.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
have you seen how they're like showing all this fancy our
Yes.
space race, all of our technology?
Tonight, the brighter the stars shine, someone has to step forward, torch in hand, to shatter the fog and illuminate the path ahead.
This sucks.
Yeah,
Every nation stands tall. The world will break through the walls of hegemony.
I don't think they understand what hegemony means. It's one of those words they use a lot.
Yeah, they do. And they also showed the failure of Marathon where all the
Yes.
robots fell and broke.
Exactly, but this is their achievement.
Oh, well.
For China, for the world,
Yeah.
we must rise and fight on. China won't kneel down.
Really?
So this is a stupid thing to say because if there's a nation where a lot of kneeling happens, it's China.
And then you know what the kneeling is too?
Mm-hmm.
The kneeling is bowing down to authority.
Yes.
So it is the stupidest thing to claim.
Yeah.
You, Chinese government I'm speaking to, have created a nation of people that must bow down to you.
They must kneel down. Look at this footage.
They kneel and they beg. You take their money away. You take their jobs away. You have a massive unemployment. You don't pay people on time. You get rid of their rights as citizens. You take their land. You take their everything. You take their families away. You disappear people. You have an 8 out of 100 on the Freedom Index. You are a bloody dictatorship that puts millions of people in concentration camps in modern times. It forces your citizens to beg and kneel for the very basic of human dignity.
Yes.
And
Basic rights.
And you claim that you do not kneel down.
Yes. And for those of you who might be a bit confused, this is something that's got a lot of historical contents. Kowtowing is something that I believe started in China. It's a Chinese word. And that means to lie down, kneel in front of somebody to show, basically beg for mercy and to show the highest respect. And what you're seeing here is whenever there's a dispute, because there's no legal process in China. If, for instance, the Chinese government took your land, or let's say a real estate company didn't complete the project and you've lost your entire life savings, or a bank refuses to give you your money, the only option they have is to go and kneel down and beg the government to beg the institution, to beg the company to pay them their wages that haven't been paid in like 6 months. Or in this case, to beg the police officer to not take away his e-bike, which he needs for work. You know? So when it comes to kneeling down, it's something that China is so used to. This is a ritual that happens in schools where the children have to kneel down and beg.
I just hate that scene.
Yeah, they have to.
The students are kneeling down to their parents to show filial piety.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman is just on her phone messing around.
Doesn't care. Yeah, this one with the earmuffs.
Doesn't give a shit.
I mean, that's pretty despicable. I mean, the kid's literally like kneeling down in front of her.
She's like trading stocks or whatever.
Doesn't care. Doesn't care. Yeah.
We hit the goal! Now.
We hit the goal. Okay, sorry.
Wow.
Sorry, wrong one. Goal achieved.
I think you should give that little tease of the robber.
Okay.
Yes, that means you guys get a free Xiaobanhou episode, which is the amusement park episode.
Can you throw that quickly in the chat right now?
I'm doing it right now. I'm going to put it in the... thank you very much, Super Chatters. That means everyone right now watching the show
and
gets
after
this
the show.
epised. Yes.
Yes. You get to see it first.
Xiaoban amusement.
Thank you very much, everybody. That's very generous of you. It's wonderful. Getting back to the kneeling, though.
Yeah. Sorry.
Again, no, I mean, I'm glad we hit the super chat goal, and we had just finished kneeling. But again, China, to say that you won't kneel down and China won't kneel down is the stupidest thing because, like I said, I have never seen as much kneeling down as I have in China.
Me too.
It's probably the most kneeling down nation, unfortunately, in the world because there is no other recourse. In a place like America, people can stand up with a banner and scream loudly about their gripes and their problems, and they can go to the press and they can do whatever. In China, you can't. You're actually reduced. And there's kind of a famous meme that goes around where it shows Chinese people protesting abroad, and they've got these mean-looking guys with their Chinese flags saying like, "Kneel down and lick your master's ass." That's literally what he's got.
Yes.
And then it's like Chinese people protesting in China. It shows them all kneeling and begging in front of a government office, and that's actually the truth.
You are true.
Yeah.
You are
pretty horrible.
Sorry, I'm just putting that in the...
You're just putting it in the description and stuff? Is it in the description?
It's in the description as well.
Okay, cool. So now you guys can get the free sub. Thank you so much once again for achieving the Super Chat goal. That's wonderful. All right, guys, let's continue. It's time for Worldview, where we talk about everything in the world, specifically with regards to China. And what do we have today?
Well, let me tell you something.
Yes.
China's always talking about how they don't get involved in other people's affairs. Mm-hmm. That is a thing that China
says. Are you suddenly like a southern cowboy all of a sudden?
I don't know why.
Okay.
It's got the passion and feeling.
Yes, exactly. I ain't kneel for no one.
I ain't kneeling for no one. Mm-hmm. But China says they never get involved. That's actually their foreign policy, is that we don't get involved in other nations' affairs. In fact, this is Foreign Ministry spokesman, Zhao Lijian. He used to be there until he got
there. Yes.
Projection.
He got demoted and he has to paint signs.
He literally has to paint boundary signs on the ocean.
Yes.
Anyway, China has been upholding the principle of non-interference in other countries' internal affairs. Wish we had a really here because, in fact, something very horrifying happened.
Really? The Philippine authorities nab alleged Chinese spy
play it out.
near Commission on Electric
You can turn it
Office.
down. Wait up. Okay. So what happened was China's been getting very involved in other people's affairs and other countries' affairs. In fact, they've been trying to spy at a record level across the world.
Yeah.
Particularly in the Philippines. The Philippines has been standing strong. Shout out to Marcos Bongbong, who has been guiding the Philippines into a stance that is not backing down to China.
Yes.
The South China Sea, this whole area is very contested, and China claims the entire thing and does not give an inch to any other country that's their own territory.
Yes.
So the Philippines, they draw a line right up to the Philippines, basically, and say, all of this is ours. They keep sending spies into their country. They keep shooting them with water guns. They keep driving the fishermen out. They keep ramming their ships.
Yes.
They're bullying the Philippines into submission, and the Philippines is saying no. And shout out to the Filipino people for not putting up with China.
Agreed.
Shout out to Vietnam for doing the same. But the Philippines has been taking the brunt of this because the Philippines is a U.S. ally.
Correct.
And we do have military presence in the Philippines. If something kicks off with Taiwan, China is very concerned that there are U.S. bases and influence in the Philippines that could do something about it. And them being our ally means they're going to fight with us.
Yes.
Right? And they want to test this too. They want to see if the Philippines is actually going to do anything about this. So they've been sending spies over, and there's been an election, right? There's been elections happening. And what they did was they sent a spy over with something very scary in his trunk. It'll zoom in, don't worry.
Yeah.
Very
We've already
scary.
seen a couple of Zooms.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to
You can
explain what it
pause
is?
on one. Yeah, explain what this is.
So this is right outside the Commission on Elections office, which is very relevant. So what you've got here, I think it's called an IMEI catcher, something along those lines. It's basically a rogue cell tower. And what it's used for is man-in-the-middle attacks. So let me explain this to you. All cell phones, as you know, they connect to the local network, whatever tower. This, goes...
I'll be the cell phone.
Okay,
you be the
there's a
tower.
cell phone tower. So what you have is you put this device in between. It connects to the tower, okay? And then it broadcasts itself as a fake tower with a strong signal. So, your phone's going to go for the strongest signal that it picks up, right? So it's going to connect to this. And it's going to seem like it's the real thing because it does actually connect to the network through this, okay? But then what this particular device does, and apparently it can have up to a 3-kilometer radius depending on your antennas and so on. When your phone connects to this device tries to kick your phone down from a 3, 4, or 5G connection down to edge or one of the lower Gs that doesn't have very good encryption. So it's easy for them to monitor all traffic. So what they can actually do is they can extract your phone calls, your text messages, and various other things. Of course, now it gives them access to the data, the raw data. They can mine it, they can try to hack it, whatever. So this is a very dangerous kind of a situation because they can snoop on what's going on in that Commission of Elections office. Anyone with a cell phone that connects to this device is now potentially compromised.
Yeah, if you want to look it up, it's called the IMSI catcher, right?
IMEI, something along those lines.
Okay,
Something
I thought it was
along those lines.
IMSI.
Pretty easy to look it up.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there-
All the links are down below.
There are, of course, different names for it, but basically it's a rogue tower.
Yes.
It's like a fake cell phone tower that tricks your phone into connecting and authenticating with it.
Yep. I mean, as we know, China does have AI 5G expertise.
Oh, yeah. Where is that?
That's terrifying.
Isn't it just? I mean, look, at the end of the day, you'll probably notice something's wrong because your phone probably has a crappy connection, actually crappy speeds and drops down below 3G.
Still.
But some people don't know that. Like, when you go into a bad area, like in a tunnel or something, it'll drop down to edge or...
Well, some countries don't have encryption natively.
That's true. I don't even know how good the Philippines system is.
So you wouldn't know.
Yeah, this is true. But
they wouldn't be doing this if it was obvious.
Apparently, this guy had been driving around a lot. And this is, of course, the Chinese government is going to be using this information. Think about it.
To sway elections or to target people.
And they'll know exactly firsthand what people are discussing, what text messages they're sending. They're going to know who to target. They're going to know now some soft spots, some blackmail. They'll be able to convince people, maybe phone them up and say, hey, I heard you voted for this person or you want to vote for this person. Don't do it, otherwise your family goes away.
It could also get way worse.
Of course.
It's called a Stingray cellular surveillance platform, this particular one, apparently.
Excellent.
Cool. Thanks for the
and
cool
thanks, Ryan the
dudes.
Gnome, for being a cell tower. Yeah, you can. It's sneaky, it's disgusting, and I really hate this. You know why? Because there's no way this is just a rogue dude doing it by himself.
No, this is
the
definitely
Chinese government.
Yeah.
But why are they
in a
never
sovereign country?
Why are they never called out?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, a Chinese spy
I mean,
did
they're
this.
doing this everywhere they hack the U.S. infrastructure.
Yeah.
They're trying to turn off your water so you die of thirst.
There should be serious repercussions for something like this.
I can't
Election
believe-
interference in a foreign country.
How is this not escalated this beyond reason?
Yes.
I don't want it to, but you have to make this country answer to something.
Yeah, it's gotta
This
be
is
like,
out
this
of
is-
control.
This is like an act of war.
You're getting there.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Just-
nuts.
They should be calling in the embassy. They should be disciplining them. There should be some kind of punishment for this, for doing this. But it just gets brushed off. Oh, just another Chinese spy caught spying and doing election interference. Let's move on. You know, sucks. Anyway, you can see the inverter over there. It's powering it from a car battery or something. You know.
Yeah. Anyway, let's finish because we have
Yes.
way too much material.
Okay. So you want
Get the idea.
You want to cover the rest of the stuff, or
We'll just brush through it because all
Okay.
the sources are down below. You guys have homework is
Yes.
to open the articles in the description.
yeah? I mean, we always put articles down below so that you can follow up. You know.
Just a reminder.
Yes, they
China
don't
doesn't-
interfere. Really. We need to make that a soundbite.
So
Yeah.
China's been here. Pause.
Yeah.
China's been secretly. You know how they won't budge. So it's
We
like,
won't kneel down.
We won't kneel
back
down. We won't call
blink.
Trump. We
Yeah.
won't do anything. Right. We won't be the guys that buckle in this trade war. Well, they secretly actually have been exempting
They've
things
already
they need.
They've already blinked.
They already blinked massively.
Yeah.
They blinked on a few things. We don't know the entire list, but it's some pharmaceutical goods, some chemicals
Yes.
that they absolutely needed, and most importantly, on the next page, you'll
Some
see.
jet engine stuff, right?
Yes, but even more importantly,
Microchips.
yes, this.
Mm-hmm.
This has actually exposed something. And this Terraform has been kind of interesting and kind of uncovering some of China's dependence secrets
Mm-hmm.
because they keep blustering. They have billions of dollars of propaganda. They go out there and be like, we don't care. We're going to win this trade war. This
Yes.
doesn't matter to us, but it really, really, really matters.
Yes.
The number one biggest concern for China right now in terms of its exports is its auto industry, its EV industry, which is trying to conquer the world with. It's cheap garbage
Mm. Yes,
EVs
yep.
that catch on fire.
Yep, those ones.
And unfortunately, what this trade war has done is expose that they're highly dependent on American chips for said cars.
Yes.
So if they can't get those chips, their auto industry basically, slams to a halt
Yeah, it's going to cost a lot more.
or cost a lot more for them. And they just don't have the time, energy, or money to do that right now. I mean, wait till you see our next week's episode
yeah,
with
it's
what's
insane.
happening right
Insane.
now. Anyway, long story short, it's been exposing a lot of things like
Yeah.
this. So
And
good read.
They've very, very quietly been exempting all these things, which basically is backing down.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, de minimis kicked in. So
Like today,
I think it was today.
or like last night or something.
So cheap packages, the reason Temu and Shein, these big companies were able to take
What
over.
were you going to say? Cheap what?
I was going to say countries for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Countries, companies. Cheap companies, cheap goods companies like Temu ships to your door at a loss basically because they want to conquer the U.S. market.
You know that joke?
What?
Like, why is the United Kingdom called a kingdom?
Why?
Because it's ruled by a king. Why is China called a country?
Stop. Temu is they're going to stop selling those goods directly
Yeah.
to the customer because they can't. Tariffs are going to
Sure,
hurt them really
sure.
badly. So what's happening here is that the U.S. isn't going to be able to get their schlock, cheap crap that catches on fire from Temu anymore unless it goes through an actual retailer, like a
Yes.
physical retailer in America that's already been set up, who's going to have to pay those tariffs, right?
Yeah.
Stop laughing at your own
I'm
jokes.
sorry.
Moving on.
Sometimes you got to do it. I've got to just put it out there, and I understand, having lived in America now for a number of years, the hyper-consumerism is real. People do need to keep buying stuff. It's like if a package doesn't arrive every day or every other day, people feel like incomplete almost.
I hate
Okay. It's not necessary, guys.
It's not everyone, but-
Of course, no. I'm just saying I've noticed that
Sure,
trend.
sure.
Obviously, it's not everyone.
Sure.
It's nice to be able to buy a little gadget and a little thing to kind of scratch that itch, but you have to really think about it. At what cost? All this junk that you're buying is just destroying the earth. And I don't want to sound like an environmentalist, but they're sending these massive ships that burn this crude oil that like really is bad. They're producing this crap slave labor stuff for you in these factories, and it's really making people miserable. You're getting a garbage thing that you forget about in a week.
Yeah.
What's the point? Maybe just buy nice stuff.
Yeah.
Pay the extra premium.
True. True.
I'm personally, maybe it's selfish, but I'm very happy to see Temu go the hell away.
Golf clap.
Yes.
Congratulations. Thank
Yes.
you. So that's just what I explained.
Yep. For sure.
There's a lot of news. There are 3 reports right now. I want you guys to open these.
Okay.
This is how China is actually crushing dissent around the world, but within the UN and through organizations. So, like, for example, there's puppet organizations that they're growing called gongos within the UN to get countries to work on their behalf to stop any bad talk about China in other countries, not just in China.
Yeah.
All right. Don't.
What?
Let's keep going.
Okay,
You've
we'll
got
keep
some
going.
Bad
Yeah.
thoughts.
It's that time. It's that time of the week.
Time of the week, apparently.
Yeah.
There have been exploiting Interpol, which has been very interesting.
Yeah.
Just pull the media pack down, though.
Okay, we're done for now. All right, guys. Well, listen. It's time for that time. You know what time that time is?
What time is that time?
It's time for Yamcha, which is our Q&A segment. This is where we answer your questions and you question our answers. I'm sure we've got a lot to get through today.
We sure do.
We
Thank
hit
you.
that massive super chat goal. I'm going to play that one more time just to say thank you to everybody. What a wonderful surprise. And now everybody gets free access to, in the description, by the way, and in the live chat. I think you pinned it, did you?
I did.
To our amusement parks episode on Shaban Ho. So anyway, it's time to loosen the tie. For those of you who are not watching live and those of you who are not watching on the weekend, stay awesome. We'll see you next time. And for the rest of you, let's get cracking on.
Let's do that.
Mm-hmm.